Embarking on a journey towards minimalist living is a deeply personal decision that transforms not only the spaces around us, but the very way we perceive life itself. I began this adventure with a clear intention to simplify my surroundings and, by extension, my inner world. Standing at the threshold of change, I was both curious and slightly apprehensive about the challenges that awaited me. It was as if I had encountered a fork in the road. One path cluttered with the weight of accumulated belongings and the noise of a busy life, and the other leading towards a serene, uncluttered existence that promised freedom and clarity. This new lifestyle was not merely about discarding things. It was about shedding layers of unnecessary complexity and embracing a life where every possession held intentional value. I soon discovered that simplicity extends far beyond possessions. It seeps into our habits, influences our relationships, and shapes our inner dialogues. The decision to adopt minimalism was accompanied by both an exciting anticipation and a natural sense of trepidation, for change always carries its own set of uncertainties. Moreover, this transformative journey required rethinking long-held beliefs and re-evaluating choices made over years of accumulation. As the spaces around us gently reflect our inner state, I recognized that redesigning my living environment was a profound act of self-care and personal honesty. In embarking on this adventure, I invite you to traverse the winding paths of challenge and revelation with me, embracing both the hurdles and the clarity that unfolds with each mindful step. Every moment of this transformative process has been a lesson in resilience and self-discovery. Reflecting on the call to minimalism, I recall the moment when clutter and chaos overwhelmed every corner of my life. The urge to simplify came suddenly as I stood before an overflowing room of belongings, each item a reminder of past decisions that no longer served me. It was at that moment that I recognized the need for change, a change not just in my physical surroundings, but in the way I approached life. With resolve building quietly within me, I began a cautious yet determined experiment, to live with intention and only surround myself with what truly mattered. As I sifted through countless objects, the process felt akin to peeling away the layers of an old, forgotten story. Memories intertwined with items, and each piece told a tale of a phase long past. Amid this reflective journey, I found beauty in the unexpected lessons that clutter had once concealed. I learned that minimalism was not about a strict regimen of renunciation, but rather about finding harmony and connecting with a deeper sense of self. Gradually, every discarded item paved the way for a new beginning. The experience was both liberating and, at times, bittersweet. I felt a poignant mix of relief and nostalgia as treasured pieces were released, allowing me to regain space, both physically and emotionally. In embracing this personal journey, I discovered that the call to minimalism is a powerful invitation to explore life's essence, fostering an appreciation for simplicity that resonates in every aspect of living. This reflective process reshaped my understanding of what constitutes abundance. Stepping deeper into my minimalist journey, I encountered a realm of emotional and sentimental challenges that surprised me in their intensity. In the quiet moments of reflection amidst the decluttering process, I found that every item I contemplated letting go carried a sentimental weight that was hard to measure. These possessions were whispers of memories, each resonating with stories of love, loss, and moments of sheer joy. The act of discarding was not merely a physical act, but a sentimental farewell to chapters of my past. As I faced these deeply personal moments, I felt a stirring of emotions that ranged from gentle melancholy to a profound sense of loss. Holding on to items that once symbolized comfort, I questioned whether letting go might erase pieces of the person I once was. In my heart, I wrestled with the balance between cherishing cherished memories and the pragmatic need to create space for a new life. In a quiet afternoon, as I sat in a sunlit room scattered with relics of bygone eras, the emotional gravity of minimalism truly hit me. Each photograph, letter, and trinket spoke volumes about relationships and milestones that I was reluctant to forget. In that bittersweet moment, I realized that minimalism forced me to confront the parts of my history that I had tucked away in the shadows. It taught me that while memories reside within me, they do not necessarily require physical representations. This realization brought a subtle relief, yet it came with a flurry of doubts and uncertainties. I often wondered if the emotional void left by letting go of these items might lead to regrets later on. Moreover, the process revealed a delicate interplay between sentimentality and practical living. I learned that assigning value to belongings based purely on the past can hinder progress toward a more purposeful life. There were days when the weight of countless memories felt overwhelming, causing me to pause and reconsider each decision before moving forward. Yet, every moment of emotional turmoil gradually evolved into a deeper understanding of who I was and what I valued most. Through this introspective journey, I embraced the idea that pain and nostalgia are natural companions on the path to reinvention. I discovered that by honoring the feelings attached to objects while acknowledging their diminishing practical use, I could pave the way for personal growth, ultimately transforming emotional challenges into stepping stones for a more authentic life. In the aftermath of each difficult decision, I found solace in writing down my thoughts and reflecting on my emotional responses. Through journaling, I gradually learned to separate sentiment from necessity, acknowledging that moving forward sometimes means letting go in order to truly embrace a renewed, hopeful future. I embraced this newfound clarity wholeheartedly, realizing that every emotional release allowed me to build a stronger, more resilient self. Navigating the social landscape while embracing minimalism introduced its own set of unique pressures and family dynamics. I often found myself caught in a tug-of-war between my new values and the expectations of those around me. Family gatherings and social interactions, once filled with casual references to progress, suddenly became arenas of subtle judgment and misunderstanding. While some loved ones expressed admiration for my decision to simplify, others questioned the necessity of letting go of items that held sentimental value. Their concerns, though well-intentioned, sometimes amplified my own uncertainties, leading to moments of introspection where I doubted whether I was truly ready for such a radical change. In quiet instances, I recalled evenings spent with family, where the living room was adorned with heirlooms and treasures accumulated over generations. These items acted as anchors to familial heritage and shared memories. It was challenging to explain that my choice to pare down belongings did not diminish the respect I felt for my family's legacy. Instead, I sought to honor the past by cherishing the underlying memories rather than the physical tokens themselves. The friction between honoring tradition and pursuing a minimalist ethos created an inner conflict that was both vivid and painful. Social media, too, played a double-edged role. In one moment, exposure to minimalist communities online provided a sense of solidarity and inspiration. In the next, comparisons with others' journeys sparked self-doubt. I found myself struggling to reconcile the curated images of simplicity with the messy reality of human relationships and familial obligations. Over time, however, I learned to navigate these pressures by fostering open, honest conversations with both loved ones and peers. I explained that the goal of minimalism was not to reject memories or heritage, but rather to redefine them in a way that allowed for personal growth and emotional well-being. Through these interactions, I gradually discovered that true connection with others comes from understanding and respecting differences. The social pressures, though at times overwhelming, served as valuable lessons in asserting my own values and boundaries. Each conversation, every moment of resistance, and even the occasional criticism became part of a broader narrative, one that wove together the past, present, and future in a tapestry of evolving identity. In embracing these varied responses, I came to appreciate that divergence in opinions was inevitable. I learned that balancing personal growth with collective expectations required patience and empathy. Every encounter, whether affirming or challenging, enriched my understanding of minimalism as not just a lifestyle choice, but also a continuous dialogue with society at large. These realizations reshaped my perspective, revealing that social encounter is an opportunity to refine my approach and a firm decision when faced with different viewpoints truly. Moving from the emotional realm to the practical side of minimalist living, I encountered an array of challenges rooted in everyday logistics and financial constraints. Downsizing not only required letting go of sentimental items, but also demanded rigorous planning in rethinking living arrangements. I had to navigate contracts, sale agreements, and the complexities of finding a space that aligned with my minimalist vision. The process often felt like a delicate balancing act between practicality and idealism, where every decision carried weight beyond its immediate practicality. One of the most significant obstacles was reconfiguring my financial priorities. I realized that adopting a minimalist lifestyle did not automatically alleviate financial responsibilities. In fact, it introduced a new dimension of monetary considerations. Investing in high-quality, timeless pieces sometimes meant a higher initial cost, which contrasted sharply with the instinct to cut expenses. This contradiction forced me to reassess my spending habits and reframe my understanding of value, from short-term savings to long-term benefits. Each financial decision became a reflection of my commitment to a simplified yet fulfilling life. Moreover, the logistics of managing fewer possessions brought unexpected challenges. Every item that remained required a deliberate purpose and careful organization. It was not enough to merely discard the non-essential. I had to learn innovative ways to maintain the few items that truly mattered. Storage solutions, repair costs, and even the energy required to maintain what was left became topics of careful consideration. The meticulous process of reorganizing my home and finances was both liberating and exhausting, revealing that minimalism demands continuous engagement with practical details. Throughout this journey, I encountered moments of uncertainty, where the balance between practicality and aspiration was hard to achieve. In these instances, I dedicated time to planning and reflection, often drafting detailed budgets and layouts to streamline both my living space and financial outlook. This phase of practical readjustment underscored the reality that minimalism, despite its many benefits, is a lifestyle that requires diligent management of everyday obstacles. Ultimately, the experience taught me that embracing minimalism is not devoid of financial or logistical challenges, but rather is an ongoing process that, when approached with mindfulness and planning, can lead to a truly liberating way of life. Ultimately, the practical challenges I faced were not roadblocks, but opportunities to refine my lifestyle. With each obstacle navigated, I learned to view budgeting as a creative endeavor and organizing as an art form. Every adjustment reaffirmed my commitment to living simply, despite occasional setbacks that tested my resolve. In reflecting upon these practical and financial challenges, I discovered that planning and intentional spending were key to mastering a minimalist lifestyle. Each lesson learned reinforced the belief that simplicity fosters abundance in unexpected ways. These insights continue to guide me. As I continued along the minimalist path, the challenge shifted from initial decluttering to the long-term sustainability of this simplified lifestyle. I realized that minimalism is not a one-time event, but a continuous journey that demands regular reflection and adjustment. Daily routines, habits, and even the way I interacted with the world required a conscious reevaluation. I found myself repeatedly returning to the basics, assessing the value of objects, relationships, and even recurring personal habits to ensure that I remained aligned with my core values. The process of sustaining minimalism over time revealed that life brings unexpected demands. Despite the calm and order that minimalism can bring, the flow of modern living often presents temptations to revert to old habits. Consumer culture, with its alluring calls for newness and convenience, continually tests my resolve. I learned to navigate these challenges by setting firm intentions and by periodically reassessing what truly mattered. This ongoing process was not about perfection, but rather about striving for continuous improvement. I discovered that adjusting to minimalism was as much about cultivating a flexible mindset as it was about organizing possessions. Practical adjustments included redistributing time for regular decluttering sessions, budgeting not only money but also energy, and deliberately simplifying daily tasks. I instituted small rituals, moments dedicated just to reflection and resetting priorities. These practices reminded me that sustaining minimalism required both structure and spontaneity, allowing room for unexpected gifts life offered along the way. Each adjustment, no matter how minor, was a step toward a more intentional existence. I learned that sustaining minimalism is an ongoing dialogue between who I was and who I aspire to be, a balance that evolves with every new day. Over time, I refined my routines and reconfigured my environment to better support my minimalist ambitions. I introduced regular self-check-ins, allowing myself to evaluate whether my possessions and habits still served a purpose. This long-term commitment meant being flexible, adapting to life's inevitable changes while holding true to the principles of simplicity. I embraced new methods to declutter mentally as well as physically, such as digital detoxes and mindful scheduling, which complemented the minimalist approach. In carefully balancing structure with agility, I found that every adjustment, no matter how small, contributed incrementally to a living space that nurtured creativity and peace. The evolution of my lifestyle became a testament to the enduring power of simplicity. Each day reaffirmed my commitment to simple living. As I reflect on the myriad challenges encountered on this minimalist journey, I see them not as setbacks, but as stepping stones toward a richer, more purposeful life. The obstacles, both emotional and practical, have shaped me into a person who values clarity, intention, and authenticity above material accumulation. Simplifying my surroundings allowed me to gain deeper insights into my true self, and it continues to inspire daily reinvention. Every challenge, whether related to heartfelt memories or logistical hurdles, has provided a learning experience that deepens my commitment to essential living. The path of minimalism is personal and evolving. It asks us to confront our fears, question societal norms, and ultimately choose a life aligned with our innermost values. I encourage you to consider these challenges as opportunities to grow, to not merely simplify, but to enrich every aspect of your existence. Embrace the lessons that come with each obstacle and let them guide you towards a future filled with intention and peace. In this journey, every small change contributes towards a life that celebrates simplicity in its purest form. Let this story serve as a reminder that the challenges we face are integral to our journey, inspiring growth and self-discovery.